Hi guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm Melkin. I'm reading Hololive's Derivative Works Guidelines right now. As you know, Hololive is a VTubing company. Examples of their VTubers, uh, Korone Chan, Pekora Chan. Uh, there's also English version, Mori Calliope, especially in Indonesia where I am at is Ayunda Risu, Muna Hochianova. Uh, what is that little one? She escapes my mind. Yofi, Irony, Yofi, and others. Okay, so let's go. Derivative Works Guidelines. Introduction. Cover Corp. Hereinafter to be referred to as we, us, or our, as the case may be, has established these guidelines. Hereinafter to be referred to as overall guidelines for the creation and use of derivative works so that fans may have the peace of mind to be able to enjoy our content in as many different forms as possible. Oh, including clipping, of course. And then when creating derivative works that comply with these overall guidelines, there is no need to contact us for permission. Okay, so there is freedom right here. For derivative works that do not fall under any specified categories, please refer to the overall guidelines. For works based on our music content and or clips, please also refer to the separate category guidelines. Definition of derivative works. Okay, wait a minute, guys. Since this is, I need to chat the link right there. So if you want to find the link, there's going to be in the description below and in the chat. Definition of derivative works, according to Hololive, of course. We consider derivative works to be creation. Okay, wait a minute. Excuse me. I am not a legal professional. I am just an enthusiast that I want to experience this and make a video about it so people can comment on it. So if you have a high stake stuff and you rely on this video, please use it in a grain with a grain of salt. This is not a professional advice. We consider derivative works to be creations born of fans' ideas and creativity based on content created by us. We will not exercise our rights in regards to works that we deem to be derivative works, as long as they comply with these overall guidelines. Please note that we may use any derivative works you create as trim thumbnails on social media, etc. We do not consider the use of our content as is or with modifications lacking creative input to be classified as derivative works. What we do not consider the use of our content as is or with modifications lacking creative input to be classified as derivative works. Such use does not fall within the scope of this guideline. So basically, if you just copy and paste without any creative spirit, creative purpose, or like creative purpose in it, then it is definitely not um, consider it is not derivative works that they are giving in this they're giving permission to in these guidelines, or in that is meant in these guidelines or something like that. So that is not allowed per se. Our request: please comply with the following guidelines regarding derivative works. Please be mindful of our talents, meaning the VTubers, and refrain from creating derivative works that they may find unpleasant. Oh, okay. Please limit your creation of derivative works to a fan or hobby level. Do not use our content for business purposes, including but not limited to cases where a business bears the production costs, etc., even if it is under the name of an individual or for purposes that can be deemed as for profit. Okay, so if you are a company and you want to make a YouTube channel, you cannot clip whole life talents videos or streams. Please comply with all applicable laws and regulations, including the terms and rules of any relevant platforms. Okay, so you can do this not only in YouTube, but also in other platforms. Please refrain from creating derivative works that fall under the following categories: content that is I mean, wait until it finished, right? So this is just my spontaneous comments. Probably there are nuances or restriction on what kind of platforms you can use it. For example, 18 plus usually is not allowed, or some political platforms also not allowed. So just don't rush into it. And again, remember my disclaimer. Okay, I am not a professional. I am prone to mistakes, and I am not. Please don't help me responsible if there are financial damages or health damages or any damage to any assets or whatsoever. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. Please don't. Uh, this is not a professional advice. I'm not giving any guarantee here or warranty. Okay, where were we? We were at please limit your creation for nonprofit and for platforms. And now, please refrain from creating derivative works that fall under the following categories: content that is falsely represented as official or can be misinterpreted or mistaken as official. So, official means like the audience probably would have thought that this one is from Hololive or from the talents themselves. So you gotta not mislead people like that. And then content that is contradictory to public order and morality or exceeds what is socially acceptable. I think the second part is clear. I want to go back to the previous one. Sometimes we don't realize that people could mistake our videos as official. In that case, though, is it regulated? I think so. I think so. I think, in my personal opinion, it is covered by these terms. So, um, if somehow it slips out of your mind and then you noticed it, you should take it down. But this is just my personal opinion. Content that includes matters pertaining to any particular ideology, belief, religion, or politics, pretty clear, right? Content that damages our image or that of our talents or our content, this is not clear, but it is hard to describe because it's so wide. But I guess we would know when we see one, right? Content that damages a third party's image or violates their rights, other content that we deem unsuitable. All right. So even if you are now, this is the contradiction a little bit, I gotta admit. So if they deem your video unsuitable, even though it seems like you feel like it's not, but if they say no, it's not suitable to our terms and conditions and stuff, and from these guidelines, then you should take it down. You could probably appeal to them, but let's just finish the guidelines first. Additional notes: we do not relinquish our copyright or related rights through these overall guidelines. We maintain these rights. We make no guarantees in regards to the use of our content or related derivative works, including any actions that may violate a third party's rights. We shall not be responsible if the use, performance, or submission of our content or a related derivative work results in a dispute with a third party. These overall guidelines um, are subject to change without notice. Please ensure that you follow the latest version of these guidelines at all times. So some things are happening here in one paragraph. So I'm just going to break it down. First of all, copyright issue. Um, they kept, based on copyright law, they have some rights. Not only copyright, intellectual property law, they have rights. In these guidelines, if there is some kind of clauses that seems to be giving away that rights, or some kind of an extra leniency, or something that reduces their grip or their power over their intellectual property, it doesn't it doesn't apply. It is not that. Okay. Next, we make no guarantees in regards to the use of our content or related derivative works, including any action that may violate a third party's rights. Um, yeah, so if you make a video and you violate third party's rights, it is not something that they would endorse. It's not something that is protected within these guidelines. We shall not be responsible if the use, performance, or submission of our content or related derivative works results in a dispute with a third party. Now, if there's a dispute with a third party and it is out of the clips that you made, um, then like you, some people might say, oh, it is the clip, it is the video, it is the VTuber's fault because they are the one who make the video. We are just clipping, we're just showing it, and we're just sharing it to people. And it is not, that means that kind of video is not covered in this guideline. There, you are not licensed to do that in this guideline. If, yeah, right, so they are not endorsing your video that leads to that. So pay attention to that. But that's again, this is just my own interpretation, not a professional. These overall guidelines are subject to change without notice. Please ensure that you follow the latest version of these guidelines at all times. Mm, how, like, how those usually, like, changes to terms and conditions is notified by email, is notified by some kind of means beforehand. So how are you supposed to be notified if there are changes in these guidelines? They're not really saying. So it seems like this sentence right here is telling us that we should check it regularly, and it is on our responsibility even if probably there were no notices at all. This is a bit tricky. This is, personally, I feel a little bit troubled by this. So I have to put a reminder to regularly check these terms if I were to clip one, even one moments of Hololife's VTubers moment. Guidelines for clips. Introduction. Cover corp, hereinafter to be referred to as we, us, or our, as the case may be, has established these guidelines, hereinafter to be referred to as clip guidelines, in regards to the creation of clips featuring our talent or video content provided by us, so that fans may have the peace of mind to be able to enjoy our content in as many different forms as possible. For clips making use of our content, please refer to both the clip guidelines and overall guidelines. Should the clip contain any third-party IPs, copyrights, or such, please ensure that you follow the right holders guidelines and/or terms of use. Additionally, please understand that we will not respond to any individual queries regarding such guidelines and/or terms. So problems might arise in a case like, if I made a clip, right, and you use variety of sources, not only from Hololive, but also probably from another company, uh, probably another meme, commercials from famous franchises, and made a meme about it. There could probably some issues there, and Hololive doesn't want to be troubled by that. That's probably what is being covered here. What's the implication for that? I have never experienced something like that personally. I could only imagine, for example, that um, it is the Clippers' fault because they are not observing the terms and conditions, something like that. Should the clip, okay, the clip and overall guidelines do not apply to clips featuring paid content. For example, members only videos, concert footage, etc. Okay, pay attention to that. Members only and concert footage. We forbid the use of such content unless express permission is granted beforehand. Right. So this is really something valuable to notice, right? Because sometimes we see clips from exclusive content, right? It doesn't supposed to be like that. It is not supposed to be clip. Wait a minute. Have I ever seen something like that before? Probably not. I'm sorry. Our request. Please comply with the following request regarding the creation and uploading of clips, as well as the requests listed in the overall guidelines. Please list the following information at the start of the clip's description. A URL link to the original source stream or video, hereinafter to be referred to as the source title. Okay, very pretty straightforward in this one. Second, please refrain from uploading clips before the source stream ends and the VOD is made public. Okay. And when it ends, usually it automatically become a public video. But make sure sometimes it is not. It could not be because there's an option I saw in YouTube where it became private, right? I haven't actually tried that one personally, but if such thing happened and you made a clip about it too quickly, then you wouldn't be covered with by these guidelines. Then it is not the peace of mind that is being offered here. Next, number three, please, the third one, please understand that we may initiate takedown procedures regarding a clip based on its content, thumbnail, and or other factors. So if you make like some kind of lewd thumbnails that is so controversial and that is, that is in violation of some guidelines, and that could be liable to be taken down by Hololive. It's Hololive would take it personally and went on you. Okay. Next, monetization. We will not interfere with the use of partner programs or creator programs on video sharing sites such as YouTube, Nico Nico, etc. Any advertising revenue earned thereof or any other monetization schemes offered by such sites, provided that the aforementioned guidelines set sharing sites terms of use and all third-party guidelines are adhered to and no IPs or copyrights are infringed upon. We forbid the registration of any created or submitted clips with content ID or any other automated identification system as your own work. Okay, two things are going on here. I want to go back to the previous to the previous non-commercial use above. Okay, let's pay attention to this. Okay, um, please limit your creation or derivative works to a fan or hobby level. Do not use our content for business purposes, okay, including but not limited to cases where a business bears the production costs, even if it is under the name of an individual, okay, or for purposes that can be deemed as for profit. So obviously, that one that we just read is for profit. Advertisements and stuff are for profit. That was an exception. This is wait, but remember, this is not a professional advice. Again, I think that's an exception. That is not like Steam also like that. Steam's terms and condition, Square Enix terms and condition somehow implied that as well. Like you can earn revenue from partnering program with YouTube, from advertisement. It is not this guideline or the terms and conditions are not trying to mess with that. So what is it trying to cover by putting these terms out there? I mean, not for non-business purposes. Like I said, not for companies, professional companies, uh, only for individuals, and then for human beings, and then for the human beings, I guess. So if you put on like your own product in the clip, like you're making Hololive clipping, and then you have your own product, like say for example, energy drinks or an application, and you put it out there to advertise it. They don't want to go there. They don't want that. And then probably other people's product as well, your families or your sponsors program. If you put it on purpose there, that could be a problem. That possibly could be a problem. Again, I'm saying I'm not a lawyer or something like that, but it from just by my own understanding of the words, that's what it means. Okay, continuing on. After monetization, we go to registration system. All individuals and or groups involved in the creation of clips featuring our talent and or content may register their clip channels with our company using the form linked below. If you register, we will generally contact you using the details provided to receive notification related to our clipping guidelines. Should we like may, but it is not should, right? May register their clip channels to the company. What's the perk of registering? Contact you using the details provided to receive notifications related to our clipping guidelines. So if there are some changes to these guidelines, they will notify you. Okay. For instance, we will contact you to request a voluntary deletion before initiating any takedown process. Oh, that's very good for YouTube, because if YouTube algorithm like kind of remembers that you are probably a problematic channel, your channel might be in trouble. Then making it possible to avoid any penalties from the platform. There may be times when we initiate takedown procedures even if you are registered with us. If you do not comply with the deletion request within 7 days, we may initiate takedown procedures. So it is a may, not an obligation on them. We may cancel your registration with us depending on your clip content, thumbnails, or other factors. Please use this link to register. Okay, there's a link there. Should I post it? No, just visit this terms page and go to the link. Additional notes. The additional notes in the overall guidelines will apply. Okay, this is the additional notes. Guidelines for use of music, introduction, cover corp, hereinafter to be referred to as we, us, or our, as the case may be, has established these guidelines for use of music, hereinafter to be referred to as music guidelines or these guidelines. In regards to the use of music content provided by us, hereinafter to be referred to as our music, so that fans will have peace of mind when making use of our music. For works making use of our music, please refer to both the music guidelines and overall guidelines. Applicable music. These guidelines pertain to any original song by a Hololive production or affiliated talents. Sorry, by Hololive production affiliated talents that is distributed on various music distribution platforms, hereinafter to refer to as applicable music. The use of music listed in the provided appendix does not fall within the scope of these guidelines. Oh, some music is not included with this, so strictly don't use it. Okay, musical derivative works. We allow covers, adaptations, and remixes of applicable music, hereinafter to be referred to as covers for covers, or musical derivative works for adaptations and remixes. You know what? Let's go to that particular music appendix. The music listed in provided appendix does not fall within the scope of these guidelines. Tokino Sora, Dreaming, all tracks. So this is an album. Tokino Sora, My Loving, all track. Okay, so don't make derivative works on this. Tokino Sora, On Stage, all track. Wow, like um okay, Hololive Idol Project, Kirameki Rider, Sakura Miko and Whole Show Marine and Azuki, Poppin' Kiss, all track. Minato Aqua, Uzora Subaru, Usada Pekora, Hacha Mecha Miracle, Mori Calliope, Ibasho, Minato Aqua, Kaiso Resha, Hoshimashi Suisei, Selfish Dazzling, Hanasaki Miyabi, Kaika Sengen. Ooh, wow, 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 wow. Why are they so exclusive? That is interesting. Okay, we consider derivative works to be creation born of fans' ideas and a creativity based on our music. Therefore, we do not consider the reproduction of our music as is or with modification lacking creative input to be classified as derivative works. Okay, no straight copy and paste. Such use does not fall within the scope of the music of overall guidelines. We allow our music to be performed by DJs, regardless of the above mentioned rule. Okay. However, please be aware that if you are streaming via YouTube or another video sharing platform, we may be alerted via the Content ID system. Furthermore, we do not allow extraction of our talents' voices from our songs to be used in speech generation and do not consider this to be derivative work. Okay. Use of applicable music. We allow submission of musical derivative works to YouTube, Nico Nico, and other video sharing sites, as well as SoundCloud and other music sharing sites, hereinafter to be referred to as sharing sites. We will not exercise our copyright rights, including related rights, in regards to the creation or submission of musical derivative works as long as they comply with the music guidelines. We will not interfere with the use of partner programs or creator programs on sharing sites or any advertising revenue earned thereof. Okay, so this is another way of monetization that is free for us to use, right? And they're not gonna want to go there, right? They don't want to regulate that. So this is the boundaries right here. Let's pay attention. We will not interfere the use of partner programs or creator programs on sharing sites like YouTube partnership or any advertising revenue earned thereof. So you can make advertising revenue and it says any. So I could be wrong in what I said previously. Previously I said like if you are sponsored and you make an advertising video. Okay. But does this apply only to music though, instead of for clipping? Guys, you should check it out yourself and ask your lawyers. Okay, we will not exercise our copyright. Like I want to pay attention to some other things. I thought I missed something. We will not exercise our copyright rights, including related rights in regards to the creation or submission of musical derivative works, as long as they comply with the music guidelines. Will not interfere partner. We allow submission of musical derivative works, Nico Nico. Um, we forbid the registration of any created or submitted musical derivative work with Content ID or any other automated identification system as your own work. When submitting musical derivative works, please credit as below. There's an example of crediting. There's the title of the song Shiny Smiley Story, artist Hololive Idol Project. So you put in the name of the song and the artist together, probably in the description or in the video itself, or both, or supposedly both. You can download the source files of our music for covers or for other derivative creation purposes from our PIAP Pro page. There's a URL there. And if performing as a DJ and or submitting to a sharing site, please ensure that you have paid the appropriate copyright fees. Should any processing be required, we ask that you process the payment of said copyright royalties appropriately. Let me repeat this last part. Seems like there are nuances in it. Should any processing be required, we ask that you process the payment of said copyright royalties appropriately. Um, Previously, they allow DJs, right? But then there is this appropriate copyright fees. Now, this is something that could be yes or no. I don't know. Next, playlist. Derivative musical works posted on sharing sites and that have been registered through the link may be included in the playlist of the official Hololive YouTube channel. Please use this link to register. Wow, okay, so they feature your work in their channel. There is a possibility, guys. In addition, regarding the inclusion of derivative musical works, songs may be removed from the playlist without notifying the creator at our discretion due to changes in the theme or other such changes. Okay, so they should be free to do changes in their own channel, right? Use in official content. Derivative musical works posted on sharing sites and that have been registered through the below link may be used in official programs broadcasts, and other content produced by us through our Hololive production channels. In such instances, we will contact the creator of the derivative musical work. Okay. Lastly, we may, at our discretion, remove the derivative musical work if it is later found to have violated the guidelines, application requirements, and/or other factors. So, not necessarily a violation, just other factors. But it could be sucks when it happened, but it's their channel. Of course, we would anticipate that, right? So I see the link here, and there's a submission form, right? And there's Achan's picture right there, very captivating. To be honest, Achan, you look lovely. Have you already have a husband or something? Ding ding. Next, we will go with our request. The our request in the overall guidelines will apply. Additional notes with Achan. I don't mean it. I'm just joking. Sorry. If you're married, don't make your husband kill me. I'm sorry. Next, our request. The our request in the overall guidelines will apply. Additional notes. The additional notes in the overall guidelines will apply. The our request in the overall guidelines. The additional notes in the overall guidelines above, right? The above our overall guidelines. Our request, yes. Additional, yes. Yes. Appendix. Right, we just read it and let me read it again. The music listed in the provided appendix does not fall within the scope of these guidelines. Tokino Sora Dreaming, Tokino Sora My Loving, Tokino Sora on Stage. All tracks on three of the albums, Hololive Idol Project Kirameki Rider, Sakuramiko, and Hosho Marin and Azuki Poppin' Kiss. All track, Minato Aqua, Ozora Subaru, Usada Pekora, Hacha Mecha, Miracle. Mori Calliope Ibasho, Minato Aqua, Kaiso Resha, Honshimachi Susei, Suisei, Selfish Dazzling, Hanasaki Miyabi, Kaika Sengen. Okay, so that would be the end of it. It seems like my after I'm reading it, I think there's some gray area that is not quite a peace of mind, 100%. Like for example, if you are a DJ, there's a clause that talks about purchases of the song, but there's also a clause that said you're free to use it. That's that one that sticks out in my memory. Probably there are other things. It's very likely that I've missed some of the important details, guys. So please don't use this. This is not a professional advice. It's just my personal feeling and emotion about that. I do feel like it is a well-made thing compared to things that I've read before. It like it's a good terms, and I can feel safe about that if I were a clipper or a music clipper or video clipper, I could you know maneuver freely in a lot of cases. I would remember that no, don't use company. If you have a company in Indonesia, actually, it's very easy now to create a personal company, and it is a separate legal entity, and you can use it for things such as YouTube and stuff. If you want to use like multi corporation, like a professional corporation, assets, though, a lot of times they have these clauses that they don't want for profit uses, and but they still allow for income coming from relationship between you and YouTube. I guess that is beyond their scope, right? It's hard to articulate it. It's kind of hard to articulate it reliably, but I guess it is common sense actually. The relationship between you and YouTube is actually none of other people's business. To the extent of their grip to their intellectual property, they could probably say, okay, I don't want you to use our video. You have to label it non-profit and activism in YouTube. They could do that. So, but they are not doing that. But yeah, and they allow for advertising income. Is there any other forms of income that they could get? Like, for example, we can make a live, we can make our video live and receive donation. Would that be covered? I don't think that's covered, but ask Hololive. I don't think that's covered. So the room here again. Let me get back to my own initial context. The leeway here is in regular conservative video making, right? Like shorts, like for example, like regular video editing, um, anime music video kind of style, right? Yeah, but like some kind of innovative monetization could be problematic. Mm, what else can I say? I think this this is not really restrictive. This is like liberating, quite. But just notice all of those stuff. I could be wrong again about this. Uh, Lastly, I'd say thank you, Hololive, for making these guidelines and this assurance for clippers. I think this it is a good thing, and a lot of companies have not, that I know of, have not actually. Squaresoft, I know, have done something like this for their games. A lot of companies, like, I don't know, that create contents, like for example, Hollywood companies, right? They're not making, like, there are no such thing as clipping guidelines or TikTok, or sorry, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch guidelines or something like that for their movies, right? It's just copyright law, something. Yeah, copyright law. Okay, thank you, guys. See you later if you want. Remember, not a professional advice, no guarantee, no liability, limited liability. I'm sorry, guys. Please don't use it for a high stakes stuff. Please take it with a grain of salt and consult it with your own assessment procedure. Thank you. Professional assessment procedure.